Hello and welcome to Let the Healing Begin. Today's a very special day on our show. It is Mother's Day. Yay. And yes, absolutely. We want to take the opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you beautiful, amazing mothers out there.
Happy Mother's Day.
We hope that you guys are getting pampered beyond belief today, that you're thoroughly enjoying yourselves. For those of you who have the opportunity to get out today, I know in some of the states, the quarantine is ended. So restaurants are open, so some of you will get the opportunity to get taken out to dinner today. I just pray that you enjoy yourselves. We have a very special guest with us today, and I'm super excited that I have both of my amazingly beautiful daughters. This is Vashida Pierce, and of course you guys know my co-host Donna. And Vashida's joining us today to be a part of our Mother's Day special. We just want to, we're going to do kind of like a round table today. We're just going to discuss motherhood, the joys, the woes, the challenges, the blessings, because it is indeed a blessing to be a mother. When God blesses you to have children and gives you that responsibility to raise them up and to care for them, that's tremendous. Yeah. That's the way. Would you ladies agree?
Absolutely.
And even though Donna's not a mother yet, she gets the opportunity to be aunt to her nieces and nephews. Right. So she still gets the opportunity to be in a mothering capacity. And we just want to talk about, I wanted to share first and foremost that my mother is no longer with us. She transitioned to be with the Lord 3 years ago. But I still look back on what an amazing mother she was and the things that she was able to impart into us. And I still draw on those things even today. When I'm in a situation, I'll think back to something that my mother shared with me. My sisters and I were talking, I think it was maybe one day last week, and we were talking about the things that stood out, I guess, the most to us about my mom. And my one sister said that she was selfless, and she was. I mean, the devotion that a mother has to her children, to the point that she's willing to neglect herself. Mm-hmm. And ladies, we're going to talk about that too. Neglect herself to make sure that her children are cared for and provided for. And that was so true about my mother. And I think the statement I made was that she always listened. She always listened no matter what I had to share. She was my biggest cheerleader, and she was always there to listen. So mothers play numerous roles. We wear so many hats. Yes. I mean, it's just amazing the hats that we wear. And I particularly wanted Vashida to have the opportunity to share, because she has some, and I'm not just saying it because they're my grandchildren, but she has some amazing children. They really are. They're very talented. Yes. Just wonderfully talented and gifted of the Lord. And I wanted her to have the opportunity to share about how she deals with it. Talented children, when your children are very talented, you have to kind of keep a balance as to how you handle them and how you rear them, each with a different personality. Yeah. So you have to deal with their personalities. It's just not, you just do something across the board for all of your children. So share a little bit about motherhood and your take on motherhood with us.
Wow. So I do have 3 amazing children.
I told you.
They are very talented, and I think it is something that just has been passed down.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because even on our side of the family, we have a very talented family musically.
Yep. Yes.
So all of my children can sing very well, and
they can.
I didn't see their talents start to manifest themselves until they were much older.
Right.
My son, I think he may have been the first one, Lamont Jr., he may have been the first one to come forth with his creativity, with writing and singing.
Oh my
and
gosh, did he
all of
ever.
That kind of things. I mean, even in school, we had the teachers send home notes where he would not stop singing.
That's for real.
In class.
That's for real. And wasn't he writing songs in class when he was supposed to be doing his work?
He would write songs. My husband would go and check on him in the middle of the night, and he would see that he was up, and he had this little notebook where he would write all of his songs in there. And I mean, he was like 5, 6, 7, 8. He would be up in the middle of the night, and he would be like, I have to write this down.
Wow.
I have to put
amazing.
This on paper. So I mean, all of them are just, incredible. And it is kind of, you do have to kind of put things in perspective, especially when they're all doing different things.
Exactly. That's challenging.
So, like sports, for instance, Ryan, my youngest child, was very active in sports.
Right.
And so we had to make sure that she had what she needed in sports, whether it was field hockey, cheerleading, whatever. Lamont, who was the middle child, he was very creative in music and singing and writing, arranging, and those type of things. And so we had to make space for him and make sure that we were supporting him in his area of creativity. And Asia, who is the oldest, she can sing. She can do a little bit of everything, and she can dance. She's definitely a dancer.
She doesn't like to do it though.
No, you know, we've had to kind of nudge all of them on to a certain extent. But Asia, she's really, and she's a protector of them.
That she is.
She's definitely a big
loves
sister.
Her brothers and her sister.
I mean, she was always teaching them Beyonce routines because they're all Beyonce lovers. She would teach them all Beyonce routines, and they would do the routines, and you know, they would glean from her as the older sister.
So they had a coach.
They did.
They did. They really did. I remember those days.
They did.
I remember.
They did. And so even Lamont, my husband, very instrumental in helping to keep them balanced.
Yes.
You know, helping to keep
that's
them
important. Isn't that
humble.
important?
Yes.
My goodness.
Making sure that they're humble, because a lot of times when you have those gifts and those
that. Yes.
abilities, you can find your head getting very big.
Come on.
You know, maybe getting someplace beyond where you should be. Their father was very instrumental in helping them stay balanced and humble.
That's wonderful.
And so we kind of played off of each other and keeping them in place. But they are very well rounded, not because of us.
Come on.
Not because of us, but because of, you know, the Lord and what the Lord is doing in their lives and how they've allowed the Lord
That's
a place
wonderful.
to do that.
But you have played a part in that too as parents.
That's right.
Parenting
That's right.
the right way is very important
It
in how
is.
the children turn out. So take some credits.
That's right. That's right. You have to be there to guide them and direct them, instruct them, even though you were getting counsel from God. But, you know, like I said, parents play an important, I believe that's why God gave children parents, because they play a very important part in their lives. Now, the question I wanted to ask was, who, seriously and truthfully, is the disciplinarian?
That's
I don't do you think it's her? I don't think it's her.
Well,
Let's see what she says.
I think that's a hard question, because we have two very different styles of disciplining.
Okay.
I may come behind and be the harsh, what they may call the harsh taskmaster, because of my delivery.
Right.
Lamont is more of a, let's sit down, let me talk to you, let me tell you why
That's him.
this is wrong. I mean, you're going to get a speech before anything happens. So let me tell you why I don't like this, what you did wrong, how we need to change this. And so we have two very different styles going on here.
Right.
So, but I think we balance each other out.
Yes.
But so far as like continuously disciplined, I think it's Lamont.
Yeah. What do you think, Dawn? I would tend to agree.
Yes, definitely.
I would tend to agree. And the thing about it is, I love the way he disciplines. I mean, not that I don't love the way, but she just were me. You know, it's like harsh, it's in there, that's it, this is it. Even though my kids were growing up, I did not like to beat them. I did not like to spank them. I would always threaten them, but it was when when their father came home, he was the disciplinarian at that point. But I love what her husband, and that was Pastor Lamont. We had him on as our special guest last week. But I love the way he disciplines them, because he takes the time to sit down. And this is important in disciplining your children, how you go about doing it. He sits down and he talks to them about it. Because I've heard him say, oh God, I hate to do stuff because we're going to get a lecture from Dad. But I think that's really important that, that you talk to your children about discipline and have them to understand why it's important that you know why I'm disciplining you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were growing up, you asked no questions, you had no voice. Whatever mom and dad said, that was it. You didn't get it
because I said so.
Because I said, why, mommy? Because I said so.
Y'all know.
That was it. That was the end. There was no discussion. But I love that way of going about disciplining the children, because it actually gives them a voice, not where they get out of hand, out of control, but it gives them a voice, and I believe it opens up the door and gives them greater opportunity to understand. You know, things that they normally would not have. I think it's really important. I was sharing I have a Facebook broadcast that I do on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock. And I was sharing with my audience this morning how that I have so much respect for like single mothers who are raising their children on their own.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a struggle with having two parents in the home. The weight of having to raise up those children, you know, particularly in a Christian home where you're raising them up unto God. But a single parent, man, that struggle is real. Whether it's a mother or a father that has that responsibility, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, what's your guys' take on single parenting?
My hat goes off to single moms.
Absolutely,
you know, to
man.
have
It's
to,
like rough.
you know, be both mom and dad in a lot of circumstances and situations, and especially mothers that are raising young boys.
Oh my gosh,
You know,
yes.
when you don't have that male figure that's serving as a father figure in your son's life, and then, you know, raising daughters, and just like, you know, you guys have said, there's no one size fits all approach to, you know, raising children. And when you're trying to work and, you know, raise children and keep track of them and, you know, allow them to be actively involved in the things that they're interested in, and holding down, you know, the household, and then having your own life. You know what I mean? That is just a strength and a courage that I think, you know, most people can't say they possess. You know, it's something to say about a single mother who's doing her thing, and her children are a reflection of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you said, there is no handbook.
None.
And the only thing that a single person can do is glean from somebody that they respect.
Right.
And so I looked at my oldest daughter, Asia. She's a single mother. She does the best that she can, and we constantly try to teach her and try to help. You know, you always want people to not make the mistakes that you did, and to do better, and, you know, learn from our mistakes. And so looking at her, being the mother that she is, she's a great mother.
She's a wonderful, amazing
to Chloe.
mother.
And, you know, I notice a lot of times she needs breaks. And I can look at her and be like, you need a break. I'm like, I have 3 kids. But I had a husband. You know, I had a partner.
And that makes the difference.
And that does make the difference.
absolutely
It alleviates a lot of that weight. And her being able to go forth and to bring Chloe up, you know, in the Lord, in the way that she should go, and be able to cater to her and all of her creativity. I see the same thing happening there, where, you know, Chloe's very creative and very outgoing.
Oh my goodness,
she loves to dance and sing. And Asia just catches on to that immediately and jumps on it. Okay, let's sign her up for swimming. Let's sign her up for gymnastics, and just being what she needs at this time.
That's right.
So
that's right.
It is, you know, I too take my hat off to single mothers, because I don't know the burden of that, but I do know that it has to be hard. I can't imagine.
It has to be. That struggle is real.
That partner.
And two things I wanted to share. I wanted to share, first of all, single mothers, you have to take, single fathers, you have to find some way somehow to incorporate that me time in your lives.
Self-care.
Self-care is so important. It's critical to your mental well-being, your physical well-being. You need to find a way to incorporate 2 hours, an hour, whatever it is you can squeeze in there to just take that me time and to get away and relax and care for yourselves. That's why I'm so happy it's Mother's Day, because I've been encouraging mothers all day long, pamper you. And don't be afraid or ashamed to allow somebody else to pamper you too. And to those young mothers out there, those young single or well, a lot of them are single, some of them may be married. But I want to encourage you guys to glean from older women. Glean from women who've had children and raised them successfully. And don't think that you know it all, because you don't. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Thought I knew it all, only to find out I didn't know anything. And that's really sad, because you have to endure things that are just not necessary. You know, a lot of mistakes could be avoided. I talked this morning about how I got so many lumps and bumps on my head that were not necessary if I had just listened. So I want to encourage you guys, glean from older women, particularly those who, like I said, who raised up children and done it successfully. Listen. There's nothing wrong with listening.
Where are the mothers? Where are the old mothers?
We were talking about the mothers of the church. Where are the mothers of the church? I mean, they were the ones
that weren't afraid to tell you. You don't need to wear that. That does not compliment you well. Baby, pull your dress down. Put on some stockings.
Right. I think a lot of the generation of those mothers have already passed on.
A lot of them have.
And so those same types of traits and characteristics are not so prevalent, I'll say.
That's true.
In some of our older women that are in the church. They don't want to be considered a mother of the church because they still want to be looking and considered 30
This
and
is
40
true.
when you're 50 and 60, right? And we getting plastic surgery and trying to dress youthful.
That's true.
We don't like to be called ma'am. Those from the northern part of the U.S. And so
That's
we've
true, Donna.
lost
That is so true.
some of that old
Yes.
school,
Yeah.
mama-ness. I want to say.
Yeah, it's almost like a merging of the generations
Yeah.
now. It's like, and this started a while back where, mothers were hanging out with their daughters, their young daughters.
Yeah.
You find them at the club hanging out like they're teenagers, as
Yeah.
opposed to being that grandmama at home, imparting that wisdom and that discipline where it was necessary.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be older anymore,
Right.
and it's really sad. I mean, my son-in-law tried to get me to be the mother of the church. I wasn't ready.
See, they don't want to be called mother.
Don't want to be called
I
mother.
wasn't ready, but listen, after thinking about it, I began to realize that he was really saying, we need your wisdom.
Absolutely.
We need your counsel.
Yes.
Not necessarily saying that you're an old person,
Right.
but you've lived through something.
Yes.
You've been through some stuff that you
Right.
can share
Yes, you
to,
teach
and be
us.
able to teach it to these younger people,
Yes, ma'am.
so that they don't have to go through those pitfalls
Yeah.
in their lives and can glean from it. I didn't see it that way at the time. I had an epiphany, and I have it now. But like you said, they're just absent in our communities.
Yeah.
They're absent in our families.
And the culture
And
is different now too.
it is.
Totally
Community's
different.
different. You were able to take someone's child and snatch them up.
Try it
When you try to
today.
snatch somebody's child up today, it's a little different.
That's right.
It's
You'll
a
be
little
catching
different.
charges.
Hold hands.
I mean,
Right.
like really, it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah.
We were talking, I think, last week about how it takes a village to raise a child. That's not the concept anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, don't touch my child, don't
My
talk to
four.
my child. That's it. I said that this morning. Me, my four, and no more.
Yeah.
And that a society is not going to be able to be sustained like that, because I believe that God designed creation to work in conjunction with
Yes.
itself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And we really all have a responsibility for this generation.
Yeah.
We all do. Not one person's going to be able to do it. Even with a mother and a father in the home.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, the lady down the street could beat you if she caught you doing something you had no business, and then you came home and got another beating.
Yeah.
That was when people cared. That's the sense of community was prevalent. she's glad she didn't grow up during that time. But the sense of community, koinonia, fellowship, communion,
Yeah.
was
We've got to
prevalent.
get back to a tribal way
Yes,
of thinking.
that is so
where
key.
you respect the elders in
That's
the tribe.
right, that's
and
right.
everyone is contributing to those children's growth and success.
Absolutely.
That is so
Everyone,
true.
including teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because they spend the most time with teachers.
The
Yes.
majority of their day. You're absolutely
And
right.
we wonder why, we don't have
My God.
a plethora of teachers, because that really, being a teacher is really,
It's like parenting.
it
It
is like
is.
parenting. And I saw a meme the other day where the mother was like, "Dear Miss Teacher, I'm sorry. Johnny does act a fool. He is bad. I'm so sorry, but he's going to change now." Because
Oh my
parents now,
goodness.
because of this pandemic, are home all
my
day with
goodness.
their
And
children.
they get to find out who Johnny
And
really
they get to
is.
find out exactly who Johnny really is and see that the teacher was telling the truth.
That's right.
About Johnny.
How about that?
So teachers today, my hat goes off to you, because in my mind, in my opinion, you are like a mother
That
to
is
a
so
lot
true.
of those students who
That
are
is so
spending
true.
6 hours with you
Yes.
a day. So hats off.
I agree
Happy Mother's Day.
100%.
Happy Mother's Teacher's Day.
Exactly. And getting back to the era that I grew up in, not only did our neighbors, our relatives, and any other adult in the community have leeway to deal with us when we needed disciplining, our teachers.
Yeah.
We used, y'all
Used to
won't
get
even,
beat in
most
school,
people won't even
right?
believe it. We got beat in school.
They need
The
to bring
teacher,
that back.
they do. The teacher had a paddle.
Yeah.
Now, some of it I think was kind of extreme, because I remember standing at the blackboard one day and I couldn't figure out this, and it was arithmetic. We didn't have mathematics, it was arithmetic. And I couldn't figure out this problem. And every, I guess maybe 10 minutes or so, the teacher would come past me and I still didn't have the answer, and I got paddled. We were forced to learn. We didn't have an option. It wasn't a take it and leave it kind of
Wow.
situation. We were forced to learn. And that's why that generation came out so much better than a lot of these young people we're seeing coming out of high school and coming out of college now that can't read.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I have a great appreciation for those teachers because it wasn't just a profession. I mean, a job to them, it was a profession. They really enjoyed what they were doing. They were concerned about us learning.
Yeah.
And that made a tremendous difference.
Yeah.
But like you said, a lot of my sister's a teacher, and a lot of what we're seeing today, she's definitely in agreement with the fact that parents don't want you to discipline their children.
Yeah.
They don't want you to correct their children.
Right,
They
they
come
don't.
down to the school fired up, ready to fight the teacher.
Come on.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but
Thank God for the teachers that care about the
that
outcome
care about
of their students,
young
just like the
students.
mothers that care about the
Absolutely,
outcome of their
yeah.
children.
Yeah.
I have a question I'd like to pose to the two of you.
Yes.
What would you say has been the most rewarding part of being a mom?
I'll let you go first since you're our guest.
Oh, wow. I guess the most rewarding thing for me is when you do your best.
That's it.
When you do your best and you're not sure you're doing your best, but you're still trying to do your best, and then you see the fruit of what you believe that your best was in your children as they grow and they begin to flourish and they begin to prosper and just be their own person, is just, that's the most rewarding thing to me. And as mothers, a lot of us are very hard on ourselves.
We
beat
are.
ourselves
We tend
up
to
because
be.
we feel like we can't make mistakes. I mean, we have lives that we are
That's
molding.
so true. Sure.
And so I heard someone say this morning about mothers, love them for who they are and forgive them for who they are not.
Wow.
And so I pray that my
That's
children will take on,
powerful.
that with me. Love me for who I am and forgive me for who I'm not.
Wow, that's awesome. I
is
love
awesome.
that. I love
Wow.
that. She took my answer. What she said. That's what I was going to say. But I think just in evaluating, having been a parent, my children are all grown now. Thank God. I praise God for that. But being able to see them grow up into their own person and realize that even though we made mistakes, they still turned out okay.
Yeah.
They're not behind bars, thank God. They all love the Lord and they're serving God, in the capacities that they do. And just to be able to see them turn out to be what I believe God would have them to be, because God's hand was in the midst of it all.
Yeah.
When we made mistakes, when we didn't know what to do, when we were trying to remember, because we would ask each other, well, what did your mom do when they did this? Or he would say, well, what did your mom do? And we were trying to figure this thing out because we really didn't know, like she to share. We didn't know what we were doing. So it was the hand of God, and to be able to see the product, the end product of our labor, our mistakes, the things we got right. To me, that's the most greatest blessing. That's the greatest blessing.
Yeah. I can imagine that at the same time was probably one of the greatest challenges too.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Because we're human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we go
We're not
through
infallible.
things. I mean, there's a thing that is real called postpartum depression.
Oh my. Talk
and,
about that.
Back when I first had Asia, I didn't know anything about postpartum depression. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. I had no clue why I was feeling the way that I was feeling.
Yeah.
And so you go through these different changes in life just as a woman and then as a mother and a wife, and you're trying to keep it all together for everybody else. And, you're wondering what damage you've done because of your humanity, just because of your human frailty.
Yes.
What damage have I done to my children because of, the things that I've had to go through in life? And so it's real, life is real for you.
Yes.
And then it's challenging, like you said, to be able to raise children in spite of that. To
That
be
is
able
so
to
true.
raise godly, God-fearing, obedient children.
Wonderful. But you know what the key thing you said is God. God forgives us.
Yes.
So it's important that we forgive ourselves
Yes.
for those things that we wanted to do and did not do, or could have done and did not do. God forgives us, and that's the beauty and the splendor of his creation, is that his hands are always in the mix.
Yes.
Yes.
He doesn't leave us to our own devices. He doesn't leave us to our own wisdom and our own counsel, because we know that it is foolishness to God. Amen. So I just thank God that he was in the midst of our lives, that we were raised in a godly home. My husband and I both were raised in a godly home. So, I mean, it just stood to reason, where we were concerned, that we were raising our children the same way. There was no question about it. You got up on Sunday morning and you did what?
Went to church.
Yes, indeed.
Went to church. It wasn't a
school.
question.
Yes.
That's right. Sunday school and then church.
Yes.
So there was no question about it. And I think that played a key part in the success that we've seen in our lives, in our children's lives, in our grandchildren's lives. And we can only thank God for that because, even Donna shared that we did play a part in being obedient to raise our children up godly, but it was the hand of God, y'all. But trust me, we were not that smart.
Nope.
Because my husband and I were very young parents. We were not that smart. We were children ourselves, so it took God for us to be able to make that journey and to make it successful. We're excited about who our children are today. Some beautiful young people. Donna, like I shared earlier, is not a mother yet, y'all, but we're praying for her. Yes, that God will send her that godly man, and we know that he's in the wings. We're expecting him to make his appearance this year in Jesus' name. So keep her in prayer. Be on the lookout. Because we know he's out there. And we just believe in God that this time next year we'll be able to celebrate motherhood with her.
Amen.
You look forward to that, aren't you, Donna?
Absolutely.
And so are we. Guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today. Like I said, it's a really exciting day for me because I love the opportunity for women to be in a place where we can be celebrated. We can get some pampering. What are you doing today? We got a couple minutes. Are you going out? I know all of our stores and restaurants are pretty much still closed, so we can't go out.
We're getting takeout.
Yeah, we're getting takeout.
We got pampered yesterday.
We sure did, guys. We had a ball. We did an in-house salon spa day.
It was very zen.
It was beautiful.
Lovely.
It was beautiful. So enjoy your meal. Guys, enjoy your day. I pray that you do. We were so glad to have you be a part of our broadcast today, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Same time, same place. Until then, be blessed and have an amazing day.
Yes.
We love you,
on
Mom.
your mama. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's
Aren't
Day.
they wonderful? Oh, gosh.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Mills, a singer, songwriter, and actress. Today, I'm asking you to make sure everyone in your household is counted in the 2020 census. It's our chance to shape the future for our family and community for the next 10 years. By April 1st, your household will receive an invitation to complete the census. Counting everyone in my household, including my son who has Down syndrome, will help ensure that our family and our community gets federal resources to support health care, accessibility services, and more. The online census questionnaire is accessible to people with a wide range of disabilities. You can also respond by phone or by mail. It's easy and confidential. To learn more, visit 2020census.gov.